What's up, guys? It's your boy Pillow back with another interview. Today, I have the opportunity to interview Isaac Zale. Thank you for coming on.
Hey
Before
man.
we start,
Yeah,
do you want to just say a little bit about yourself?
yeah. So I'm just a recording artist, audio engineer from Vancouver, Canada. Uh, I've been doing it for about 12 years now. But that's pretty much my story. That's my backstory. But
Okay, so who are some of the inspirations that you had from the start musically?
yeah. So my first real kind of introduction to like I guess the idea of possibly pursuing music as a career would be um, Jay-Z, the Black Album, and Marvin Gaye. Those were like my two favorites when I was like really young, about like 12. Um, and then, as I just continued making music and like just going on with my life, I started to really be inspired by people like Mac Miller and Frank Ocean and Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of artists are inspired by Mac. Like, I feel like his
Yeah.
legacy will live on forever, which is great.
Yeah, yeah. So like the thing with Mac is like his music is great, obviously, but also I think his personality is something that draws a lot of people into him and just to like I guess his brand because he's just such a likable guy, and that's the kind of thing that I really was drawn to because I was like, okay, like you can make like the dopest music in the world, but just having that kind of like likability and just being like a a good dude, it goes a long way.
Yeah, definitely. So when did you like really start like pursuing this career?
When I was 11, 11 or yeah, 11, that's when I started writing.
And what was like that first experience like? Like what was like kind of the mindset behind it?
Oh, dude, I was trash. I was garbage, but it was like even at the time, I just understood like the more that I do this, um, obviously the better I'll get because that's just how it is with anything. Like the more you kind of like apply yourself to anything, you're just gonna get better and better if you put the work in. So I understood when I was young that like I'm not gonna just write a song, my first song, and it's gonna be like a Kanye record. It's gonna be trash for a while, and I just accepted that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really important for people to adjust to that idea because I don't know, at least nowadays we see people like blow up from like one hit, maybe with like TikTok or something. I don't want people like the new generation to think that's how it works exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot because you only really see the tip of the iceberg. Like you don't know what kind of company they're teaming up with, what kind of like TikTok campaigns are being funded or whatever. And a lot of the times it might just be, it's a sick song and they got lucky and the song blew up on TikTok. But a lot of the times you don't really know like everything going on with like the management team or the label situation and shit like that.
Yeah, very true. Um, was there ever a moment like in your musical career so far where you wanted to quit?
Yeah, I'd say I was living in Toronto for a few years. And I think that's when like I kind of hit like a really low point, and because I was living by myself, I didn't really have anyone, and like it was kind of like there was like kind of two sides to the coin where it was like, what am I doing? Like I left my family and everyone to move across the country to do this shit, and then the other side of it was like, whoa, this is literally all you have right now, so why would you abandon that too? So that was kind of like the only time where I kind of had that thought pop into my head. But I just kept doing it. Even the days where I really like felt like this isn't going anywhere. What am I doing? I'm wasting my time. I just kind of used the music to kind of like distract myself from those thoughts. And then the more work I put into it, the more I saw success wise come back to me. And I just kind of clued in on that pattern. And I was like, okay, like just keep doing the shit. Like don't stop.
Yeah, so was that kind of like a moment where you realized like you need to step this up and work harder or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. So like at first I thought that for a very like slight second I thought that maybe it would be best to just like maybe do something else with like my life, but I realized that it was just kind of disguised as that thought, and the real thing that I had to do was just keep doing what I'm doing, but do it even more, work even harder.
Yeah, that's a really important stage for an artist for sure.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people get to that point too, where they're like, oh shit, like, should I just drop this? But, you know,
Yeah, you got to be committed to the idea. Um,
yeah.
so you switched your name from Zach Fluids to Isaac Zale. What was kind of the idea behind that?
Um, well, I picked Zach Fluids when I was really young. Like that was the first name I picked when I was like 11 when I started.
Hmm.
And I just kind of grew to associate it with a younger version of myself, like a less mature version of myself. So even now, if I'm putting out these records that I kind of deem mature and, older and maybe, you know, not something I would have put out when I was a kid, I still kind of have that like mental association that I'm still that little kid making those records. And, like it makes me kind of take credibility from away from my own music because I'm not really able to see it as like, a mature artist because of all of the history with the first name that I had. But yeah, I don't know. I just see the name and it just brings me back to a place where like I don't even think I knew what I was doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think that's part of the growth as well, just making sure you know your identity as an artist.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So you're from Canada.
Yeah.
What is like the Canada music scene and seeing some artists going more mainstream during your childhood and stuff? How has that inspired you?
Um, I mean, it's cool, man. Like, because for the first leg of my career, I thought like, oh, like I gotta be in LA, I gotta be in New York, I gotta be in, Atlanta. But the more I've just seen artists kind of pop off just from Canada, I realized like I don't have to be anywhere. I have the internet.
Right.
I could be in fucking Alaska. Oh, sorry, can I swear?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Even like I could be in, none of it and be like, you know what? I got Spotify. I can release my music through my computer. It's fine.
Yeah, I
But
mean, the music scene has definitely grown because of the internet. Like you can connect with people all over the world because of it. So that's
yeah,
huge.
exactly, exactly. Like even like some of the biggest artists in the world are from Canada.
They are. I mean, they definitely are.
Weekend, Drake, Bieber, Mendez, Tory Lanez, Nav. Like I can go on forever.
Yeah, really. And then you're from Vancouver area. Was there like a music scene there that kind of helped you?
So I was born in Vancouver, and then when I was 17, or maybe I was 18, I moved to Toronto for a few years. And when I moved to Toronto is when I kind of started to like actually build some momentum. That's when I dropped like my first like real songs that saw some success. And then by the time I moved back to Vancouver, um, the scene in Vancouver was actually pretty good. Like there's some notable, really great artists coming out of Vancouver right now too, like Baby No Money, Eric Reprid, Boslin. Like we have some really cool um, acts emerging from Vancouver, which before I moved to Toronto, like it wasn't really popping like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see that. And you're part of the collective Burgundy Soul. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So Burgundy Soul is like a collective that I founded with my friends, and the goal is to kind of like make music with my friends and release the music under Burgundy Soul, but also eventually kind of open it up as like a label where I can sign smaller artists and like maybe sign them for a project or a single or something and do my part to distribute that project with like my partners and help develop artists. So we offer things like mixing, mastering services, production services, distribution, and things like that.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I think that'll be helpful for a lot of artists as well.
Yeah, yeah. I wanna really kind of like realize that idea once I'm at a point with like my own career where like I can actually step back and be like, okay, I'm gonna take a break from my own music and focus on like kind of expanding my business and working with other artists and helping them get to like a point where they can potentially do the same thing in the future.
Yeah, That's awesome. Um, so you offer a lot of different sounds in your music. What made you want to go with that route with what you do?
Like what with like the melodies
I
or
mean, yeah, you do like fast rapping, you have vocal, like singing, like a lot of singing
uh,
in your tracks. You do a lot of different kind of production,
so
mixing.
when I was like a really little kid, like I used to always so I rap, I don't know, I did this like little rap freestyle for like my friends, and I was able to like I guess hit like a really quick flow out of nowhere, and I never did it before. It just kind of shocked me that I was able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of ran with that. Like I was like, oh shit, like I could do this. So I started making all this da 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 speedy like whatever stuff, and I started doing that for a few years under the Zach Fluids name. And that's also kind of the reason why I maybe have such a bad association with the name, is because it reminds me of that type of music.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing against that type of music either, like teach their own. But I've kind of grown to be more fond of like melodies and kind of just like overall composition, as opposed to just like an impressive flow or like cadence. So I still kind of have that that aspect of speedy or quick deliveries in some of my music, but I want to I want to just be able to keep it interesting. Like I don't want to get to a point where I'm that artist that's like predictable, like the type of artist that you kind of know what the music's going to sound like before you even hear it. So yeah, I just want to be able to find a balance between like being rhythmically impressive and melodically impressive and then compositionally impressive.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. That's definitely important because some artists do end up just releasing stuff that sounds really similar, and I don't think that's where you want to be unless you're at the point where you already have a huge following. Then sometimes that does happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is like your recording process like? Like the difference between like when you're writing a rap verse or you're writing like you're singing, making a melody. Like what's the difference there?
It's about the same for me. Like I'll start off, I'll play a beat, I'll just like get my phone and then I'll start voice memoing. Like if I'm trying to come up with a melody, I'll just loop the beat back to my voice note, and like I'll go through the section where I feel like the melody was cool, and then I'll start filling in the words into that melody. And the same thing goes for writing rap verses. Like I'll do the same thing. I'll just kind of like voice memo a flow or a cadence, and then once I like sonically find one that is cool, I'll fill in the words to it.
Okay. And do you self-produce your music, right?
I can, but I tend to not.
Okay.
I I've produced like a ton of music for myself, but the music that I've actually released is produced by mainly my friends.
So what's
Yeah.
like the difference there? Like writing a to your own beat or doing it to someone else's beat. Do you enjoy one of them other more?
I think the only difference is like when I'm making the beat, I'm actually making it with kind of cadences and melodies in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But when I get a beat sent to me, it's kind of like I have to then come up with what I'm going to do vocally. So it's really not too different. It's just like I could say it might be a little bit more fluid sometimes when I'm like producing and writing at the same time. But I tend to like using other people's beats because it kind of like I've always seen music as like a collaborative effort for a lot of people,
Yeah.
and it's kind of cool to be able to like use someone else's idea or beat and then kind of add what I add to it. So it's like, it's like a community thing, as opposed to just all being me, which I do sometimes, but I tend to like using my in-house producer the most, Dane Zabo, because he's just, I don't know, I just appreciate his mind and like what he does instrumentally, and I just know like he's way better than I am at that shit.
Yeah, that's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you go through like phases with your music? I feel like when I was listening through all your stuff, there was definitely some different kind of vibes that happened.
Yeah, definitely. Like, um, like again when I was living in Toronto and like living I guess on my own, um, that's when that's when I ended up writing like my darker, more kind of I guess depressing music. But once I moved back to Vancouver and kind of just got my life back on track, uh, I was able to write happier or just more kind of fun records. So it is really dependent on mood for me. It's like if I'm feeling a type of way, it's gonna be really hard for me to pretend to write a happy song. But if I'm in a good mood, it's gonna be hard for me to write a sad song. Like it wouldn't be genuine.
Yeah.
It wouldn't really come off as like authentic. So I kind of just let my mood dictate what I'm gonna work on.
Yeah, that's awesome for sure. What is like the difference between like the process you use for singles versus like making an album or a song for an album?
Oh, so usually what I do is I'll make an album and then I'll pick the most like commercially accessible songs off the album and then release those as singles.
Mm-hmm.
But for most of the singles that I've put out now are just like producers that I really like send me beats and then I just kind of like make a fun kind of like catchy song to it and then we just drop it as like a collaboration between me and the producer.
Mm-hmm.
But my main focus, like what I would like my main focus to be throughout my career is albums, like thematic conceptual albums. And then picking the songs that are the most I guess accessible from those albums and then releasing those as the singles.
Okay. Yeah, and I thought it was like really cool how a lot of your singles like always had like a feature or something. So it's kind of just like a fun project for
Yeah.
you, it seems like.
Yeah. Like I said about like the collaborative thing, like I've just always seen like music as a type of like a vessel to kind of bring people together and work on things together. And like that's when I have the most fun is when I'm kind of like, with my friends or something and we're just like making something. And even a lot of the features on my singles are not even like vocal features. Like it's the producer. So I would just put them as the featured artist because like I just believe that the producer should be treated like a featured artist because production is underappreciated a lot of the times. So I feel like it's the least I can do to kind of, you know, put their name out there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Production is definitely underrated. There's a lot of really talented producers out there that never really will get known because the name isn't on the song, like you said. So,
Exactly. Exactly. And like, I don't know. I just feel like it would be kind of well, I've felt in the past that it would be kind of like I don't know. I feel like they deserve to get the same amount of credit as the vocalist.
yeah, I mean, I would agree for sure. Um, Also, I wanted to ask about like your cover arts for your singles for the album. What kind of thought process goes through with those?
So I was doing like the water cover art for a bit. So I would get like I just took a picture of my buddy's pool and like I would just color correct it different colors for every single. And that's when I was like Zach Fluids because water fluids like
Yeah.
yeah. But as I changed and rebranded my name and my like aesthetic, I kind of just liked I like kind of weird cover arts, like just things that don't really make sense. And just because I've always been like really into like abstract painting and like Dali and in painters like that. So I just kind of wanted to be able to do that with my cover art because I don't know. Like a lot of the times with my music, like I try and be really creative with like the effects that I put on and like because I handle all the mixing and mastering, so I can really like sculpt the song however I want it to. And I'll put effects where they probably shouldn't be, and I don't put effects where they probably should be. So that's why I kind of feel that way with the art, where like I don't really want it to make sense right away, like the cover art for my song "I See You" with the eyeball floating or whatever, and then my Ziploc cover with the man covered in grass. Like I don't know, I just think it's cool.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, like it makes your music stand out even more with memorable cover art that maybe isn't easy to understand right away. It's not simple. That's great.
Yeah, yeah, thanks.
Um, so I wanted to ask, like, I don't know, you mentioned drugs in your music a couple of times, and like I wanted to ask how that kind of relates to maybe your life or your musical, like, the way you think about music.
Um, it doesn't really it doesn't really change the way I think of music. I feel like at certain points in my life, I used music um, even more to kind of help me feel distracted from certain things that I might have been ashamed of or felt trapped in. Um, but like as of right now, I'm healthy as shit. Like I'm super healthy. Like wake up every morning, I run 20K. I like I think that phase in my life has helped me to appreciate health than more than I would have if I didn't kind of maybe damage it a little bit too much.
Yeah,
But, you know, at the end of the day, I just feel like everything kind of happens for a reason. So, um, I may have been a little bit reckless um, in the past with certain things, but that's all to say that I appreciate being healthy now. And I didn't really think much of it at the time. And I'm lucky that I went through that phase when I was young and my body could handle it.
yeah.
But you know,
Yeah, I mean that's definitely important. I've gone through something similar as well, and I think that a lot of people eventually do get to that point where you have to learn to appreciate, health and stuff, and care about yourself and stuff like
yeah,
that. So that's really important, and I'm sure music can help you get that feeling out for sure, so that you can realize what's actually happening to you.
yeah,
So, you got the Coda and the Mick Jenkins features over the recently.
yeah.
What has it been like to work with bigger names like that?
Oh, it's been crazy. Like, um, so when I was a kid, like maybe not a kid, but like a teenager, like high school, Mick Jenkins was my favorite artist. So when we made our first song, Steps, back in I think it was 2018, I freaked out. I fangirled. And then we made 10 gallons after that. And then when it came time for my album, um, I reached back out and we made Seeds.
Hmm.
So just the fact that I can say I have three songs with like one of my all-time favorite artists is like mind blowing to me. And then the Coda song happened through my management. They kind of made that connection for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is there like a dream feature for you? Someone you would love to work with?
Frank Ocean.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Frank Ocean would be sick. I really like Giveon.
Yeah, he's definitely been impressive lately with what he's doing.
Yeah, Snow Allegra, dude. If I could work with Snow Allegra.
Yeah, I mean, all of those sound really cool. And do you have any like favorite up and coming artists that you've met recently or heard their music?
My favorite up and coming artist, yeah, Chewy. I mean, he's not really up and coming. Like he's like a veteran at this shit by now. Um, Chewy, Kari, Eric Raprid, Ben Beal. Um, hmm. I know there's more, but I'm just going off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, I mean those guys are all pretty solid as well. Like it's that's a range of artists that don't necessarily get noticed by like the mainstream or anything, and probably never
Yeah.
will. But they are so creative with what they do. So
Mhm.
it's great to see that. And who's to say that they won't go mainstream one day? You never
Yeah.
know because they're doing
I,
their
I
thing.
I believe in every single one of them. Like I believe every single one of them could be A-list artists.
Um, okay, so what is the overall journey as an artist been so far? Like, what has it been like? Have you enjoyed it? Like, you're really happy with what you've done?
Yeah, I mean, it's I would be lying if I said it's not stressful, but once you can kind of get a grip on like the self-doubt and you can kind of get out of your head a bit, it becomes fun. It's more like, with every song I drop, I add it. It's like I add it to a collection. It's like, oh, these are my projects, and not only can I enjoy them, but other people can enjoy them. Other people can find solace in them, and that's what I kind of look forward to, is just adding more and more to my collection or my discography.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite moment, like one particular moment that stands out?
Like a song, my favorite song.
Yeah, a favorite song too could work.
Um, I would say my favorite moment or my favorite song is actually I made a collab uh, tape with Chewy.
Hmm.
It's not out yet,
Right.
but it'll be out within a month. But that's probably like making that album, because Chewy's another one. Like when I was a kid, like I was such a big fan of that guy. Like I listened to all his stuff. His America's Most Blunted trilogy was like one of my favorite like album trilogies ever. Um, but I think just being able to make that project with someone that I look up to so much was like really special for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I saw that's coming out soon. You're pretty excited about that one. You think your fans are gonna really like it?
Yeah, yeah. We just dropped the first single to it, Ziploc, and like the reception for that's been great. So I'm hoping the rest of the album kind of uh, is also appreciated that way.
Yeah, that track was like pretty high energy. Is a lot of the tape gonna be like that?
Yeah, yeah. It's so the tape is it's called Think Good Thoughts, and it's supposed to demonstrate like the mantra we may tell ourselves when dealing with like OCD or like self-deprecating thoughts and things like that. So sonically, it's supposed to be kind of uplifting or hype, or you know, it's supposed to sound like the way you think when you're trying to make yourself think of happier things.
Hmm.
So that's kind of like the idea with it.
Yeah, that's really cool. And do you have anything else planned for the future, past that tape?
Yeah, we've talked about following it up with like a sister tape, but other than that, I'm gonna be working on my own. I'm working on my own conceptual record. So I'm doing that. I'm also making a ballad album where it's like not so much rapping, but it's more like I wanted to focus on things like tension in music, and like using the lack of percussion and things like violins and strings to kind of build and ease like tension in music. So that's a project that I'm working on as well. But
That's that's awesome. I mean, that seems like you have a lot of stuff going on that you're working on. So that's really, exciting, for your
thank
fans and stuff like that, to see that, you're thinking outside the box and not just doing what's working right away. So that's great.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
And yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. This was a great
Yeah, man.
interview, and definitely excited to see what the collab tape sounds like. I'll be tuning in for sure. So,
Yeah, bro. Thank you for having me.
yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Make sure you guys check out Isaac music if you haven't already heard his music, and the collab tape's coming soon. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Bye, bro.